Hello, everyone. Sorry, my voice is. Can you hear me in the back? Yes. Okay. So I will try to project at this level, but my voice, as you can tell, is a little strained at this point. My name is Leonelle. I do a lot of wide talks. I also do Kickstarter and direct sales. So I'm assuming everyone here is wide. Correct? For the most part? Awesome. All right, a couple things. One is if you haven't signed up for our email list, you can, I'll pass it around. If you've already signed up, please don't sign up again, if possible, because we probably have your name down multiple times. The reason that I want people to sign up for that is because my company is Writer MBA, and I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the things that we see on wide retailers, but there's not enough promotional tools for authors who are wide. Even companies that do promotions right now, they tend to be a little bit more Amazon focused. So we're talking to some of them about what authors really need, or at least in my opinion, some of the things that authors need for promoting their wide books at each retailer. So that's why I want people to sign up, is just so that as we start to build some of those tools, we'd like to just notify you about them, because we know that you're like committed to wide and excited about wide. So as a quick disclaimer, I'm not a rep for any of the retailers, and I basically share things about the retailers from the author perspective. And the author perspective that I come from is, how do I sell more books on each retailer? So that's where I'm coming from. If you talk to retailer reps, sometimes the things that I say versus what they say might be a little contradictory. If that happens, it's usually just because a retailer has different goals. Their goals are, they come down from their company. They are trying to serve a lot of authors. We as individual authors are trying to build our businesses. So there's a little bit of a conflict there every once in a while. But I think talking amongst ourselves as authors can help make the conversation with retailer reps better, because we are more informed. We know more about how we're experiencing the platform, and then we're able to take that to them and do more with suggestions, ask better questions about different features. So also, every retailer that I have spoken to or worked with, they really want to understand our experiences on the platform. So I do think all the wide retailers, especially in the last couple of years, are really excited to grow in the independent author space. You can see that they're investing in features for independent authors. So I think it's an exciting time for us, and also an exciting time for them, as they also are growing in market share in the US, the UK, and other English language territories. Today I'm talking specifically about Kobo and Barnes & Noble. We covered Google Play Books and Apple Books yesterday, and of course we can keep that conversation going. I have a Facebook group for authors. It's called Go Wide, Grow Wide, Algorithms and Advertising for Authors, if you're not a part of it. So you could always come in there and ask me any questions. I'm happy to respond. There's also a group that hopefully you've heard of. It's called Wide for the Win. There's a meetup after this talk at 11:30. It's in our Writer MBA suite, which is 2061A. But I know some of the people who are involved with Wide for the Win will be there as well. Wide for the Win, if you know, they've just incorporated. I'm one of the board members, so if there's anything I can do to help you from that standpoint, like someone came to the talk yesterday and they said, it would be great if Apple Books did some more webinars with Wide for the Win. So that's something I can take back to the board and see, can we get more Apple Books webinars, just so that people can, people who missed them last year, I think they happened in like November, December last year, have a chance to talk to Apple Books this year. All right, so Kobo and Barnes & Noble, the reason that I put them together in this is it's mainly because these two retailers on the ebook and audiobook side, they really are true book businesses. So Kobo started out as a book business. It was, and as specifically as a retailer, ebook retailer in Canada. They also did e-reader devices. They were purchased by a Japanese company called Rakuten, which is a huge internet conglomerate that is like the biggest e-commerce retailer, kind of like the Amazon of Japan, basically. But they've mostly, as I understand it, they mostly continue to operate independently. In Canada is where they're based. And a big part of their business model is that they have e-readers. So they work with a lot of print book retailers all over the world, and they usually try to find like the biggest bookstore chain in any specific country, and they go to them and say, hey, we can bring ebooks. We have a library of ebooks that we can bring into your stores and onto your website, and we have e-readers that you can have in your stores. So a lot of people don't know this, but Kobo is partnered with Walmart, for example. So here in the US, Amazon is, of course, the biggest bookstore probably, but Walmart has a lot of foot traffic. So instead of Walmart building their own e-reader and trying to compete with Amazon in that way, they partner with Kobo instead. And they have, if you go into a Walmart, they have, e-reader displays. It's a Kobo e-reader that they're selling usually. So that's their business model. They also have other partnerships. Kobo is really built on their partnerships. So if you want to get merchandising with someone like Walmart on the digital side, like Kobo is a great potential ally or partner. And I know that there are a couple indie authors who had done very well on Kobo and who had been loyal to Kobo that they were able to then bring into the Walmart section on the ebook side, not on the print side, but on the ebook side. Barnes & Noble is also primarily a bookstore. It started out as brick and mortar stores here in the US. They still have, they still serve only the US, so they don't have any international stores. You have to be in the US to buy a Barnes & Noble ebook. They also have an e-reader device, and both these companies have e-reader devices that have loyal followings. I think that's really important to know that like Barnes & Noble e-readers, they are often using a device. So they also may use the app, but they're loyal to Barnes & Noble. These two bookstores, they also have kind of like a membership program of some sort. Kobo, I think there's like a VIP, and then I believe Barnes & Noble is as well. So it's like their readers can pay a membership fee and they get discounts, promotions, that sort of thing. So I'll talk about Kobo first, and if you weren't at the talk yesterday, I'm going to talk about Kobo and some of the things that work really well there to market your books and how indie authors are growing. Then I'll do the same for Barnes & Noble, and then we'll just open it to questions. So we'll have a lot more time for Q&A. With Kobo and Barnes & Noble, metadata, they do not index the descriptions. So whatever you put in the descriptions, you could put Dragon Romance, like all the way down your description. You're not going to rank for Dragon Romance. They do index title, subtitle, author name, and series title. At both stores, you want to have all your metadata very clean. Specifically series titles, they will link the series title, or they will link your books in a series if your series title is all exactly the same. At Barnes & Noble, they also have print linking up with ebook and audiobook, and that is done, I believe, primarily through title. So make sure that your print title is exactly the same as your ebook title, so that those link up. Linking up is, of course, really important. I think it's so important to just check all the wide retailers and Amazon as well, and make sure that your print, ebook, and audiobook are linked up. Every time you do an ebook promotion, you're gonna sell more print and audiobooks. That's true on Amazon, it's true on Barnes & Noble, and then the other 3 retailers, they don't do print, but it's true there for the ebook, audiobook. So always making sure those are linked up. On Kobo specifically, first free in series works pretty well on their platform. I would say they don't have the highest read-through of all the wide retailers, but one thing that they do is that you can get that free book into their promo page, like kind of onto their promo pages. And so on Kobo, there's a promotions tab, and you can see like all their in-store merchandising that's available at any given time. If you don't have that tab, then make sure you email them. I don't know the email, but it's
support
on like,
at
KoboWritingLive.com. Yeah. So make sure you email them. They give everybody the promotions tab, but you do have to ask for it. Same with audiobooks. They will give everybody the audiobook direct upload tab, but you have to ask for it. So with the promo, there's always basically a free page for each major genre. And then they also do something called editor's picks. And you can get your free book in there. Usually you just have to, some of them you only pay like a couple dollars, some of them you have to be selected for. But when you get it in there, then it'll stay on there for as long as it's free. And you can kind of keep checking in on that so that if you see it go off, make sure that you just kind of apply again. They do a lot of in-store merchandising, like I said. Box sets are really what is kind of their bread and butter. And the reason is that their members really love box sets. They love like the 40% discount on box sets. So I would say like once a month, or maybe like once every couple months, they'll have a big box set sale. So you should have, for every single series, you should have a box set. And it's really valuable. Like for all the other promotions that they have, I would not say like create a new product for it, but for the box set stuff, I think it's valuable to even, if you don't have a box set that really fits your requirements, to create one if it's related to your genre or topic. So what I mean by that, sometimes they'll have a promo that's like your box set needs to be priced at $6.99, and then we're going to take 40% off. And so you know, for most authors, you don't want to take like your 7-book series and do that. But then what you can do is just get like books 1 and 2 or books 1 and 3, create a new product, price it according to their requirements, and then submit it to try to get into the promo. You can also do that with novellas. You know, there's often like minimum page counts and that sort of thing. It's worth it to kind of put a couple things together. So as you're looking at those, I would say try to develop your box set catalog, I guess, based on what you see in the requirements for those promotions. Because the other thing is they often come up again, and then you can resubmit that box set in the future. With the in-store merchandising, don't get discouraged. They really only accept you about a third of the time. So I have twice the number of rejections as I do acceptance. So just make sure you keep submitting. And we can talk about if you have, if you're having challenges submitting, like we could look at what's going on and try to figure out how you can get something in there. Okay, so then they also have a daily email that's kind of like a book of the day. It's pretty hard to get. What they're really looking for though is something, because it goes out to so many people, they're looking for something that has broad appeal. So often on these sites, it's something that's more contemporary. So they're often looking for like a contemporary romance or like a contemporary thriller, mystery, suspense, because those are the biggest genres and the most popular genres for fiction authors. But I also think if you're nonfiction, if you have something that's like, I don't know, like leadership, for example, like it's a very broad topic. That's something that could do really well in those daily emails. So you might not have the right, and I think it's worth submitting for that no matter what. They're looking for books that blend in well with traditionally published books. So make sure your covers are just kind of on point for the traditional reading market. And I think it's always worth applying. There's no harm in applying. But if you have a book that really fits that criteria, make sure you apply. And I think it's not even that pricey. I think it's like $80 or, it's not like BookBub prices. But just know if your book kind of fits that. Don't get discouraged if it doesn't. And then make sure you apply if it does, because I think it can do really, really well at that platform. I wanted to talk about Kobo Plus, because a lot of authors, I see two things from authors. One is that they're like, oh yay, I don't have to be exclusive, so I'll just click yes, I will sign up. And then authors who are kind of debating, like, is this going to do well for my catalog or is it not? So a lot of people don't know the terms of Kobo Plus. It's a free trial period, and with that free trial period, those 30 days, Kobo does not pay, there's a free trial period for readers that is 30 days long. And they may have shortened it, actually, I'm not sure. But anyway, there's a free trial period. During the free trial period, if that reader reads your book, they could go through your whole series really in Kobo Plus, because it works a lot like Kindle Unlimited. They don't pay you for that trial period, to my knowledge. And there have been lots of talks about that, of why that is, but that is their terms as far as I know. So you may be okay with that, or you may not be. It's the same actually on the audiobook side. They have a trial period for that as well. And if that reader listens to your audiobook, they're not paying you for that period. This is especially relevant when they bring new countries onto the Kobo Plus membership platform, I guess. There were a lot of, the good thing is that they allow you to opt out by country, but definitely when that country comes on, probably within the first 6 months or so, they're of course going to have a lot of trial people. And obviously the first 30 days or whatever, everyone's probably going to be a trial person. So when that happens, you may want to opt out if you're not comfortable kind of having your content be used to build somebody's platform without getting payment for it. So just be aware of that, because I do think I think that it's not a very fair policy to authors personally. And I think if other retailers were doing it, there would be kind of some backlash. So I just want to make people aware of that. The other thing about Kobo Plus is that for each title, there is a minimum of 300 minutes per book, and you get paid in 300-minute increments. So what that means is that if one person reads your book and hits 290 minutes, you are not paid. It does roll over, so and I don't know, it's possible maybe you can email support and find out how long your book is and how many minutes it is equal to, but there's kind of a lack of transparency there. There's no real dashboard to see what's going on with Kobo Plus and the page reads. I know they're working on that. But also, even after you hit that 300-minute mark, it doesn't then accumulate. You have to hit 300 minutes again and 300 minutes again and 300 minutes again, and so it just might not work for you.
Can I ask for a
Yeah.
slight clarification? If one person gets 290 minutes and somebody else quits your book after 15, does that count as 300?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
the way I understand it, it's by title.
Okay.
So what some people do to get around that, especially if you write shorter books, is they only put like box sets in there. And then you can kind of accumulate minutes faster, but it's still, you know, I mean, it definitely works differently than what a lot of us are familiar with, which is Kindle Unlimited, where a page read is a page read is a page read. Like they will pay you for one page read from that person, versus this, where you do have to hit these minimums to get paid. Like I said, the reporting on it, some people don't even realize they're making money in Kobo Plus because the reporting comes at the end of the month in a spreadsheet. So there's no dashboard. I know that there's been a lot of talk about a dashboard. They're working on a dashboard, so I want to give Kobo credit there. But I always try to tell people it does work differently. That said, if you have books, like if you have fiction in a series and they're novels, you are very likely to make more money in Kobo Plus by signing up for it. And for a lot of authors, it doesn't necessarily cannibalize their actual sales on the platform because kind of similar to Kindle Unlimited, it's just a different type of reader. So, you know, the Kindle Unlimited market, it's I think 12 to 15 million in the US are Kindle Unlimited, and they kind of have their own ecosystem, but you can be very successful on Amazon selling books too, if you're not in that program. So it's kind of the same on Kobo Plus. Right now they're in Canada and a couple other countries that are not traditionally English language, I would say. They're not in the US and the UK, which are the biggest markets. They obviously would like to be in the US and UK, and that's something that's kind of on their agenda, I would say. So just be aware as they open those up, and they'll email you and everything. But just be aware if you're kind of like, I do want to be in the US, but not during the trial period, or I want to wait a little bit until we see like how it goes. Just be aware of that as they open those up. And again, they do allow people to opt out. You can opt out your title by country now, so that's really helpful. So yeah, so that's Kobo Plus. Pricing. People ask about pricing for international markets. The nice thing about Kobo Plus is that you can actually find a lot of the international markets that you're pricing into. So you can just look at their retailer partners. So Fnac is one of them, FNAC. You can go look them up, BOL, BOL, in the Netherlands and a couple other countries. So you can actually go look up your books on those websites, and you can also do some price comparison. And I think that's probably, like sometimes people are like, oh, like can you price higher on wide retailers? You can, but it really depends on your genre. So like romance, I'm always like, you can price a little higher, but not a lot. Mystery thriller, you can price a lot higher. Fantasy, you can price a lot higher. Young adult, you can price a lot higher. So it's a good way to look at like, what, you know, how is your book actually displaying in those stores? What is the pricing? What is the international pricing in euros, in pounds, in those larger markets? They also do coupon codes. Actually, all 4 of the big 5 retailers that are not Amazon allow authors to do coupon codes. Coupon codes are really great for discounting without getting price matched. So you can do, you know, if you're trying to build your sales on Kobo, you could have a coupon code for a free book. So maybe you have your first book free at Kobo, but then you want to give your second book free to readers just at Kobo to kind of get your sales started there. You can do that. The challenge with the coupon codes, and I think why authors don't use them as much, or you know, maybe aren't as creative with them, is that there's not really a way to distribute the coupon codes beyond your current audience. So if you have no Kobo readers in your current audience, and you try to give away the codes, it can be challenging. Like you may not get a ton of takers. So that's really, that's something my company is looking at, is like, how can we build a list of Kobo readers where people can do these coupon codes, which is something they can control, and then we have readers that we can like distribute them to so that people can try it out. So that's something we're looking into, one of the big things, because we don't see anyone really having that for wide authors right now. Okay, so libraries. Kobo has Overdrive. You can get your Kobo books into Overdrive through Kobo. You can also do it through Draft to Digital. And so I don't know that there's any advantage of one over the other. With getting your books into any libraries, you want to do the pricing, I would say about 3x what your regular price is. Libraries will, when they get that request, they'll purchase it, and I believe they have a certain number of borrows on that. But it's kind of a win-win for everyone. So if you're trying to get, like if you're, let's say you're not on distributors, you're just on Kobo, and you're trying to get your readers to borrow the books, then that could be another good way to kind of build your sales there, build your readership there. So that's really everything with Kobo. I think they have a lot of opportunities. They're very author friendly. Oh, there is one more thing I want to say. So I've known the last 3 Kobo reps, starting with Mark, and then Chrissy, and then now Tara, and all 3 of them have always said, if we as authors have a promotion, like, come pitch it to them. So if we want to organize something that they're a really author-friendly retailer, they're happy to support us in doing that. They may be able to create a landing page for us, or anything like that. And so I've definitely seen some go in my genre, even just like 4 or 5 authors where there was like a bundle of one of each of the books. That they've then pushed out to their readership. So I think there's a lot of opportunity there, but it really requires a lot of organization on our part to get that promotion together, and then to ask Kobo to provide support for it. All right, so I'm going to shift to Barnes & Noble, and then we'll do questions. Again, Barnes & Noble with the metadata: title, subtitle, author name, series title. The series title is particularly important for having the series pages. The title is particularly important for matching up with the print book and the audiobook, especially since audiobooks are still coming in through Findaway. There's no direct upload on Barnes & Noble, and then print books often are coming in through Ingram, Spark for the most part. You can upload your print book to Barnes & Noble. If you are going to do that, I always recommend doing a separate ISBN and a special edition of some sort, just because you can't have the same exact book through Ingram Spark and through Barnes & Noble. You have to have something different, because the ISBNs just conflict. It's not an issue on Amazon, because Amazon just suppresses one of them. Like, Amazon has already kind of like handled it, but Barnes & Noble has no mechanism to do so. Okay, the big difference with Barnes & Noble is that they have their own category system, so it's really important to go look at that for your specific genre. They do it in a slightly different way, which is that they actually have 4 sections of their ebook store, and they first ask you to choose a target audience. So you may have noticed that in your metadata. It's actually really important to get this right. So because it decides which categories you get shown or that you can select. The 4 target audiences, I think there's one that's, I don't remember what it's called, but it's basically like adult, I would say, like adult. And then they have children's, teen and young adult, and then I guess just like general audience. So they're trying to sort by, I don't know, whatever they're trying to sort by. So then, once you choose that, and I will say that the young, if you have young adult books or young adult crossover, like new adult, I would go for the young adult section probably. It's far less competitive than the just general audience section. After you choose your target audience, then you can do your categories. And so the categories, what I would say is you can choose 5. I would make sure your most important one is the first one you choose. But also I would go look at the store because different categories have different competition levels, and I'll kind of talk about sales rank and how it influences the categories. With every retailer, algorithms, they're kind of either good at categories or good at search, but often not good at both. So at Barnes & Noble, so at Kobo, for example, readers find a lot more books through search. At Barnes & Noble, readers find a lot more books through category, just because they're better at category, basically. The categories are really niched down, so you can find really good categories at Barnes & Noble, and I think a lot of it is because they are booksellers. They understand how readers are thinking about books, and you can really find categories that make sense for your books because of that, so make sure you're doing that. When you look at the categories, you want to look at how competitive it is. And so I'll talk a little bit about sales rank. So free and paid in Barnes & Noble, they're all the same. So 1 download equals 1 sale, kind of at any price. So what that means is that free can work very well, just because you only, basically, in terms of competition and velocity, you can just have 1 download. And it's the same as like having a 99-cent sale. It's the same as having a $9.99 sale. Let's see. So the way they kind of suppress free books on the site is that they don't allow free books to rank above a certain number. And the number I saw before was 1,000. Now I'm seeing 500. And it might vary by genre, but basically what it is that the free book, the downloads count, but then the reason they're not kind of overrunning the category with free, which it otherwise would have, is because of this. And so you want to check your specific category and see what is, in the top 100 or in the top 10, whatever you're aiming for, what is the highest sales rank there? Is it possible to get a free book into that category in the top 100? Where are the free books kind of landing? And so then you can see how well free is going to work for your specific category. And of course, we don't have a projector, so I can't really show that, but we could talk about that some other time. And like drill down if you have any questions about that. Okay, so the other thing is that 99 cents works very well as well because of the same thing. So 99 cents, you can be number 1 in your category with a 99-cent book. There's no suppression of that. So that's always a good option. All right, so in-store merchandising, you can really only get to it by being direct with Barnes & Noble. They have really good in-store merchandising. One of the ones they have is they have a single book every Friday. If you get that one, it can be like multi-5 figures in the store that month. And then the tail on it is very long. Again, similar to Kobo. I believe that a lot of times what they're looking for is something that has really broad appeal. So that's typically just the most popular genres, typically contemporary and typically romance, mystery, thriller, suspense. There's definitely a possibility you can get it with like a fantasy or a sci-fi. Kind of the same thing. It should look traditionally published. It should be like on point for that. On the nonfiction side, again, like leadership or finance or something that has a very broad appeal as well. I think it's a little less competitive on the nonfiction side as well. And I've talked to a couple people, I don't know if they're here, but they had nonfiction books that were very broad, and I was like, we should try to get you into the Barnes & Noble one. So just know if your book is a good fit for that, and if it's not, I would say keep applying anyway, but just know, the potential is probably lower than if you had something that's a really good fit. They also have other promos that are really nice. They do a promo, like a larger promo, I would say like every couple months. It's not as often as Kobo. When they do those promos, if you get accepted to that, just know that they will show the books with the highest sales at the top. So if you get into one of those promos, I would say if you're not ranking as well in the store, maybe do some ads for the period leading up to the promo, just so that you can get higher on that page. And then when that promo goes out, then you're visible, and it can kind of then Barnes & Noble kind of takes over, and that visibility helps you. So with the free books as well, just know that the read-through on free books is really good. It's particularly good at Barnes & Noble compared to other retailers. And so I think it's really worth, Barnes & Noble in particular, it can be really worth putting like some low spend ads on those free books, just because the read-through is just so much better. And you'll definitely want to test your read-through for yourself, but I think that works really well. Similar to Apple Books, if you get a BookBub, you will be at the top of your category at Barnes & Noble, like, period. If you, I should say with a 99-cent deal. With the free one, again, you can't rank higher, so free BookBubs don't do as well at Barnes & Noble for that reason. But if you do a 99-cent one, you'll be at the top of your category, and it's great for a period, and there's a good tail on that. When you have a BookBub, and this is true for all the retailers, use the pricing and promotions tab. Don't change the price of your book. Use the pricing and promotions tab to schedule a discount, because most of the retailers will do, it's just like a different way to show the pricing on it, and a lot of them will do like a red line through the pricing and show that it's a discount. It can even get you into different carousels, and at Barnes & Noble there are some different carousels that have visibility in the store that are like current deals and that sort of thing for each category. So it's a nice way, and you can do that without a BookBub. If you haven't been selected for a BookBub, you could do an ad stack with email promotion sites like Bargain Booksy and Robin Reads and a number of others. You can do that still, and it can still be effective. Again, they have coupon codes, and Barnes & Noble in particular, they have they have the regular coupon code where you can discount a single title, but they also have this BOGO, this buy one get one coupon code, which I think is really cool and different, and it's good for selling a series basically. Google Play does stuff like this automatically, but with Barnes & Noble you can control it yourself. Unfortunately, it doesn't show up anywhere on Barnes & Noble, so it's not like even on the product page it doesn't say, hey, and there's like this discount, there's buy one get one opportunity. So this is one of the reasons why we're kind of looking at, well, wouldn't it be great if there was an email service where you could send out your buy one get one opportunities, and Barnes & Noble readers could browse it. So that's kind of what we're looking into.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I kind of missed that.
Oh, sure.
If they have the ability to give you coupon codes in BOGO, what did you mean by you said they're not going to show that?
So they'll give you the code, but you are the one who has to promote it. So you have to tell your readers, which is fine. But even if you send people to the product page, there's no like note on there that says, and this book is part of this buy one get one promo, or there is a coupon on this book, or anything like
So
that.
how will they know? I mean, other than you telling them if they go
Yeah.
and it's not there,
Right.
why would they believe you?
It's confusing to the reader. So you could tell someone, you could tell your readership about it, but then when they click on it, they have to like add stuff to the cart before they even see
Unless
it.
they
And, like,
add it to the cart of the
yeah,
store?
yeah, it's
Okay.
discounted in the cart, but it's still very, like, that's pretty confusing to the reader to see like the full price. And
Yeah.
so it's you know, like, we can suggest to them that they add that. I think I have. But, you know, I think, you know, the way to get around that is really educating the reader about it. But I do think that the coupon codes at all these retailers are really cool, and there's stuff we can do with them. But a lot of authors that I know, including myself, like, we don't use them very often because it's just it's not easy to work with them and to get them out there. So that's all I have. I'm happy to answer more questions. It looks like we have about 3 minutes as well. And then if you join the group, then we can also chat more. Okay, first.
So on the coupon code, this is just thinking off the cuff, sorry, it's a silly question. Is there something to prohibit you from doing it in a Facebook ad or other social media ad?
No, there's nothing to prohibit that. But the question I would have is like the conversion could be a little not great because they don't have it. But I mean, yes, coupon codes, you have, you know, any way that you can promote it on social media, Facebook ads could be a great idea.
Suggestion for the coupon codes, put it in the description on the retailer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Add it to your description.
You mentioned in-store merchandising being great. I think I missed an explanation of what that is.
Yeah, so I was talking about it more for on the ebook side. Do you mean, so I don't know if a rep would say this, but Barnes and Noble, their brick and mortar stores, they are the managers. They've done something where like managers of the stores are allowed to merchandise a bit more and choose what books they put in. And it's supposed to be that if your print book is listed at Barnes and Noble, you are supposed to have a better opportunity for that. But
So wait, you mean like your print book being ordered for brick and mortar Barnes and Noble stores? Is that
like
what you mean by in-store merchandising?
Yeah. So I don't really know if this is true in practice. But like there were, like, I'll just call it a rumor because it really is not. I don't think it's something that they're pushing. But if your book was listed at Barnes and Noble through their print, like you can go into Nook Press and put your book in print. It is supposed to be kind of more favorable to that manager because you're put through Barnes and Noble.
Rather than Ingram Spark.
Right. So that's why I say like.
By Ingram Spark.
Yeah, so what I would say regarding that is like put your books in Ingram Spark because it's important to be there. That conflicts with Barnes & Noble, but you could put a special edition at Barnes & Noble.
Separate
and then,
ISBN.
yeah, separate ISBN.
Wow.
And then talk to your local Barnes & Noble manager or whatever and see if they're willing to order the books because of that. So, but I'm not saying it's going to work. It needs to be tested.
I actually know someone that happened to in Seattle. So she totally sold all her books, and then as soon as she hit a rank on her ebook, she talked to the manager and ended up carrying her book, and it's on the front desk, you know, like walk in. So.
Just quickly, I have seen people before with large audiences direct their readers to order through Ingram Spark to the point that their book showed up in brick and mortar stores, but it took a lot of volume.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
My experience is that Barnes & Noble will put some of your books in the store, like if you do a book signing or whatever, but you have to have your book marked as returnable. And it doesn't do that by default. You have to contact Barnes & Noble customer service for their book sellers. And it's very, very difficult. And I
Okay.
have known a few people who didn't do that and they got charged back for all this. So it's true.
Yes, absolutely. All right, thank you.